Hi there, it's Thomas George, and I'm here today with Ian Alexander, and he's going to go through some essential mixing tips. So five top mixing tips with Ian Alexander.
So the first tip I'd like to give you is spend a good amount of time getting your levels just right. So whenever you start a mix, you should spend a fair amount of time getting the balance between all the different parts to a good level. I'd recommend you do this before you do anything else. So even before you begin panning parts, applying any EQ or compression, I'd spend some time getting the levels just right. This is the foundation for your mix, and without it, you're setting out to fail. I'd recommend listening to the loudest section of your song, where almost all of the parts are playing, and getting your balance just right there. You can always use automation later on in different sections of the song, but for the main part of your song, just get your levels just right. The next tip I'll give you is be really organised with your mix. Because when you're mixing and you're getting creative, the last thing you want to be doing is spending time trying to find the track that you want to work on. So I'd set up buses, subgroups and folders. I'd name all the tracks appropriately so you can quickly find different parts, and also colour your tracks, just because it makes it way easier to navigate around your session. This will save a lot of time in the long run and help you to be creative when you're mixing. Tip number 3. Always think about the mix as a whole. So there's no point in soloing one particular part and listening to it on its own, mixing it really carefully, because the final listener is never going to hear this part on its own. They're going to hear the full mix. So for example, if you've got a guitar and you're trying to EQ a frequency out of it, make sure you check within the whole mix to see if you can hear a difference, because otherwise you'll just be wasting time working on something that no one's ever going to hear. Of course, some changes will be subtle, and you may need to solo something to hear specific frequencies at times, so always go back, unsolo it, and make sure you're making a positive difference to the mix. Tip number 4. Whenever you add a plugin or apply a different process, always make sure you've matched the level of the signal going into the plugin and coming out of it. Because when you bypass the plugin to listen to the difference it's made, if the plugin has made the track louder, it's going to fool you into thinking that you've made a positive difference. So the human ear is easily fooled. If something's louder, we're often tricked into thinking that it sounds better. So, for example, if you've added an EQ plugin and you've boosted a lot of frequencies, you will have made that track louder. So, when you bypass the plugin and turn it back on again, when it's louder, you think you've made a good difference. But in fact, you may have just made it louder. So, try and level match the signal coming out of your EQ plugin. This way, when you bypass it, you can see if you made a positive tonal difference to the track, rather than just making it louder. The same applies for compression or any other process for that matter. Try not to have it any louder when it comes out of the plugin, so you're not fooled into thinking you've just made it better. It's often good to bypass your plugins with the eyes closed as well, because this way you're really listening to the changes, rather than just looking at the difference you've made. And my 5th tip is make the most of your ears. There's a number of ways you can do this. So when you're mixing, you can often be doing this for a long period of time. So it's important to have a break every now and then, every 20 minutes or half an hour or so. This gives your ears time to adjust so you can really hear things properly again. I'd also listen at a reasonable level. So by that I mean, if you're sat in the room with someone and you're just having a normal conversation, you should be able to hear the person next to you when you're mixing. If you go much louder than this, your ears will become tired a lot quicker, so you'll start to make bad decisions. So another thing you can do to make the most of your ears is by using reference tracks. So if you're mixing for a long period of time, you can sometimes lose objectivity. Listening to a reference track can remind you the sort of direction that you were going in. It can also really help you make mixing decisions. For example, if there's a track that you really like, you can listen to this to take inspiration and ideas from their mix. And finally, I'd recommend listening to your songs on different sound systems. Every set of speakers you listen to a song on will sound slightly different. So, if you've been mixing on the same set of monitors for hours, it can be good to go away and listen on a smaller set of speakers, or some earphones for example, just because it gives you a new perspective.
Okay, so these are Ian Alexander's top 5 tips. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a like, and also remember to subscribe for more videos like this. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.